Okay, Geoff, we've won 2-1 at home against Southend Manor. It wasn't a spectacular game in terms of a feast of football, but getting the job done really the most important thing after those couple of early setbacks here in the league. Um, Also, very interesting tactical sort of setup with Briggsy dropping into a 3 when we're in possession. Totally derailed by Felix having to come off after in the first sort of like 20 minutes. So maybe if we start with the kind of the overall impression, but also kind of the changes you had to make during the game.
Yeah, I think when we're at home, I think a lot of teams will pay us that respect in terms of setting up more defensively. So I think we need to, well, we've needed to find a way where we can sort of, I can start very sharp and increase our ball retention and just find different ways of getting around. And I always say I think we're at our best when we're sort of using our width and getting around the wide areas where we've got people like Felix, Tammy, Jeff, Junior, Bailey when he's around. To really, we've got attacking fullback, so we've got to utilize that as much as possible. And also, a lot of teams will come here with a structure in terms of being very, very solid in the middle, but obviously maybe negating the areas out wide. So with Briggsy dropping in, which he's done, a few times before.
Yeah.
We've done it with Az before, Jeff in the final. It just means it allows Sam and Adam to proceed into areas where they can be more aggressive. Then that pushes obviously our midfield higher, our fullbacks can go higher, and then maybe we can get a double up, on that side. So like for instance, where Tammy and Jake were doubling up against their fullback, so we should have an overload there. So that was the game plan. But it was getting to a certain point and constantly breaking down. That's what it is. So the first part was good. The second part, which we need to work on, wasn't sticking and we wasn't getting the fluidity in terms of the movement. So that's why I think the first half we didn't really trouble the keeper enough for my liking anyway, in terms of getting to those areas. But yeah, Felix obviously coming off, we had to change it. So we had an option to, obviously we could have brought Dino on, but we kept it. We wanted to keep Sam on because Sam with a natural left footer and he's aggressive with the ball, and ultimately that resulted in the penalty because obviously Sam was aggressive, nice and high, diagonal ball from Adam, got in, and again just used his brain, got in front,
Yeah,
from a angle of leg.
it was a clear penalty. I don't think. I mean, none of their players complained about it either. Tucked away by Briggsy as well, which is also important because there's obviously been a couple of misses recently as well.
Yes, and we've got this sort of thing now in terms of I think players taking 2 pens in a game. I don't think we'll be doing that much anymore. It's just that psychological element, do you understand? So it just takes it a little bit away, isn't it? It becomes a psychological battle. And if you take a second one, you go the same way. You don't, and we've seen big players, missed it the same way Harry Kane missed against France, took 2. So yeah, from that aspect, because we've got got ball strikers, good ball strikers, sorry. So why we sort of, complicating this similar situation. So yeah, so we got in at half time and 1-0. I think obviously we were the better team, but it's it's like 1-0, the cliches and stuff. And this sort of level, it takes a set piece or a deflection or a mistake, and 1-1 we're in the game. So I just wanted to make sure we got the second. So we actually went to a 3 at the back, to get a second forward, to sort of push them further back because we weren't retaining the ball in midfield enough and up top with a striker up top. And Andre, again, he was playing today, but he wasn't really fully fit. So we wanted to obviously start the game, and then obviously we were able to bring Louis up top, which again changed the game a little bit for us because it's actually sticking now, so we can sort of attack from a certain area. And then we got the second.
So that's Adam's goal. It bobbled around. I mean, actually, we had one against us a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, of course.
But this time, broke in our favour. It was his initial effort that
of course, which
was
a good strike as well. But when you've got, as I said, people like Adam and Sam, Charlie, these are very good players in the box, from set pieces and good weapons, and so many goals, in the modern game scored from set pieces. So it's a weapon that we've got to use. So shout out to Axe, who's been working on set pieces for the last sort of season or so, and it's finally getting fruition because we wasn't getting a lot of joy last season on the set pieces, but it's obviously working this season. So more to it, do you understand? The same way, we've lost a couple of games due to set pieces. They're so vital in the game now, so it's very important. In both boxes you do well. So yeah, it was, as you said before, it was more of a sort of a mechanical sort of performance really, where it wasn't clicking a lot of the times, and the final ball wasn't there, and in terms of like just keeping it simple and basic. But you just got to get the wins on the board at the moment, like I said, and I think the performances will come later when we have a bit more consistent sort of starting 11s. Because again, we probably were missing probably 5 or 6 centre mids today.
Yeah, so they're going to come on to that. So it's just availability. I mean, we obviously had enough centre mids to cover centre midfield, but we didn't have any midfielders on the bench really. All
that's it. So we had to utilise it. So again, Enzo coming in, for another start did well. We had Az in there. Where usually we may have had like a Nathan Cook or a Julian, a natural sort of 10. So we just had to utilise what we got, and that's why I keep talking about sort of how the depth of squad is very important across the season. Because again, if we get into the playoffs by 3 points, or by a narrow margin, this win today could be the reason why. So it's very important. The squad players feel part of it and obviously come in and do the jobs when required.
Yeah, they got a goal back, which obviously set it up to be a bit more of a tense finish.
A bit frustrating.
I mean, maybe their only shot on target, their only serious kind of shot on target that I can really remember. As you say, kind of like a bit frustrating, particularly as Enzo and Cam were going down with injuries during that period as well.
So we just to secure it up, we just finished with a 4 at the back. Just went to a flat 4, just normal. Everyone knows their jobs, and then we're just trying to play through the direct threats of Louis and Cam. And again, we got into a few good areas, but that's where you got to be ruthless, isn't it? Just to make it 3-1, so everyone can sort of rest. And obviously, we took Sam off a little bit earlier because obviously he came in with a slight strain, and obviously with Tuesday in mind as well. So we had to obviously manage it as well. But the games are coming thick and fast. But this is, you want to get it out this way of the season. It's our 3rd win on the bounce, which is obviously we're trying to negate sort of the slow start at home. You know what I mean? So if we get a good result Tuesday, we're flying now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's pushed us up the table significantly. We're kind of, it's early to talk about the playoff places, but we've just nudged into those. But we've got some big matches coming up. Sure. Lymore Tuesday, Stansted Rayleigh also coming up as well. So it's another kind of crucial set of games.
And I think the Vars will be not too far after that as well, which will be a tough game against Brimsdown. But we've got to utilise the squad, as I say, as much as possible. A few players will be back available on Tuesday, making sure we're rotating as much as possible, giving some players certain rest. Junior was away today, but he's back available on Tuesday. So Julian will be back soon as well. He's on holiday. So when you've got a 4 array to choose from, it's good. So it's good. And there's enough games for everyone to play. So we just got to make sure, as I said, we're trying to find our rhythm, being consistent. And then also in terms of our performance levels, they can rise a little bit, because I think we're getting through games, doing enough, but across the season, you'll start to falter. You know what I mean? So if your performance levels are good, generally, you won't stay away from that. So, and that's what we just got to try and improve our performance levels a little bit.
Great. Okay. Look forward to speaking to you on Tuesday.
Yes. And thanks everyone for attending.
Cheers. Thank you.